You know I love when you sing with me. So repeat after me. I am who I am, because of what I put into my mind.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that part. Yeah. Let's say oh yeah. Oh yeah. Louder. Oh yeah. Because of what I put into my mind.
Oh yeah.
I am who I am, because of what I put into my mind.
Oh yeah.
I can change who I am by what I put into my mind.
Oh yeah.
You know I care about you. I hope you care about me. Let's sing together. Set our mind free, or let you know who I am. I believe we can see the future. Whatever we plan, say I am who I am, because of what I put into my mind. Oh yeah, I can change who I am by what I put into my mind.
Oh yeah.
I wanna hear your truth. What bothers you? Don't try to fake it. Whatever you do, you got to give up the fuss. Begin to trust your heart, your mind. I know you stand tough. Come on now. I know you stand tough. One more time. I know you stand tough. Say I am who I am, because of what I put into my mind. Oh yeah, I can change who I am by what I put into my mind. Come on, guitar man. Give him a big hand. Woo. Do that again. Oh yeah. All right, you ready to sing this? 1, 2, 3. I am who I am, because of what I put into my mind. Oh yeah, I can change who I am by what I put into my mind. Oh yeah. Do you believe in love? It don't come from up above. It come from mother, father, sister, brother. I think it's all around. It helps the ups and downs. It's your vibration. It's every little sound. Say I am who I am, because of what I put into my mind. Oh yeah, I can change who I am by what I put into my mind. Oh yeah, I am who I am, because of what I put into my mind. Oh yeah, I can change who I am by what I put into my mind. Good job. Thank you so much.
There's a few things I want to say today, and as I said first service, this is more like a patchwork quilt than a seamless piece of cloth. And I was wondering why I was bombarded with all these different ideas, and I think it's because it's the end of the year and I want to make sure that everything I wanted to say this year is said. So who knows what you'll be getting in the last few times we're together. But what I want to start with is something that I thought about when I was having breakfast with Rabbi Ted Falcon on Friday. Some of you may know him. If you know Rabbi Ted, please raise your hands. He's wonderful. And he often speaks for me when I'm gone. In fact, we were sitting together at this table. It was a table for ministers. We were having a holiday breakfast. And he said, we're never in the same room at the same time. I said, that's by design, because if I go away, I need somebody here. So thank you very much for showing up. And he was reminiscing, and he's shifted. He's semi-retired now, so he no longer heads up a Jewish congregation. And he was telling me how odd it was for him to meet in a Christian church. He would have services on Friday night at it was a Unity church, so it's more Christian than we are. It's all on a scale of, isn't it a sliding scale, really? I mean, woo. Anyway, so he said it was very odd to have Jewish services and be talking about Hanukkah right by a Christmas tree. And I said, well, it wasn't a Christmas tree. There's no Christmas tree in the New Testament. There's nowhere did it say, and then people gathered around the Christmas tree. It was a solstice tree. The trees and the Yule logs and all the candles and all the lights and lots of the types of decorations we have come from the pagan tradition of celebrating the winter solstice. And he goes, oh yeah. It's like I could almost hear him say to himself, I could have said that. I could have said that. Because he knew that, he just wasn't thinking of that. How many of us do that? We are reacting to something that we are confronted with, and we don't necessarily think all the way through it. So that got us talking about light. And he said, it's true that at this time of year, people really want light. There's Hanukkah, there's the solstice. Many of the things that Christians have taken over were pagan traditions. It was this desire for light. In India, Diwali is this festival of lights, and it starts just as the days start to get shorter and the nights longer. Light, we want light. Isn't it true? How many of you just love these little sparkly things? Any excuse. Sparkle. It's fun. Our soul cries out for it because of probably a lot of things. Some of us are a little bit afraid of the dark. But I also think that it's a reminder that no matter how dark it gets, there's still something inside of us that can see, as Karl Anthony was singing about. There's something really beautiful about that. And so we had that conversation. And then he went on to say, do you know that in Jewish tradition, the menorah is always supposed to be in the window? You light the menorah and you put it in the front window, not a window, the front window, so that a house is saying to the people that walk by, we have light and we'll share it with you. Isn't that interesting? And then he said something else that was new to me and somewhat disturbing. He said, recently it's gotten to the place where Jewish people don't put the menorah out. We don't want to be known. We don't want to be associated with being Jewish, so it's more of an in-the-house activity as opposed to sharing. And I thought, wow, that is really sad. It's sad that such a beautiful tradition of lighting candles and remembering miracles and saying who you are is becoming scary for people. And so I was thinking to myself, if I had a wish or an intention, I would love it if in the very near future, people were who they were and they were out with it. And that we appreciated, we not just tolerated. Oh, I hate that word tolerance. Don't you hate the word tolerance? I hate that word. It's like, I don't like you, but I'll put up with you. What if we appreciated all the various ways people can worship and connect to their God? Appreciated it. That's my prayer. So I think it has to begin with my appreciation of the way I'm called to connect with my God, and to talk about that we should be appreciative of the way that we are called to connect with our God, and appreciate people who decide, oh, I like this. I want to connect in that way also. And to perhaps even put it in the front window of our consciousness and let people know what we believe. Because it's easier to explain Judaism than it is what we do. Really. I mean, it's a challenge, isn't it? That's why every time we have a service, I try to remind myself and us a little bit about what we do and why we do it. We are spiritually based, not necessarily organizationally based. In fact, I heard something else from a gentleman I put on my Facebook page. I saw this wonderful picture with a Indian pony and an Indian on the pony, Native American on the pony. I used to call my paints, I have 2 paints, I said, oh, you're Indian ponies. Now I have to say, you're Native American ponies. No, anyway, so I want to be politically correct in the barn. Anyway, there's this beautiful picture, and it says on there, religion is for people who are trying to avoid hell. Spirituality is for people who know they've been there. I mean, how many of you have been there? You've done that. And actually, all spiritual traditions were about having the experience of nirvana or peace or heaven or whatever you want to call it now. It was never about future. Even the Buddha said, when asked what happens after we die, he said, it's none of your damn business. Hello. He didn't say damn. But it was the Buddhist equivalent. It's none of your business. You can hardly live in the present. Why do you think you want to clutter up your mind with the future? If you're in heaven now, you'll be in heaven then. So we seek heaven now. Spiritualities. It's the spirit and the soul coming together and having this combustion of light. I love it. Well, anyway, this is my prelude to a talk. It's not my talk. It's my inspiration after talking to Rabbi Ted Falcon. I wanted more to say. But now let's go into what I really wanted to talk about, which is the talk title is The Divine Quiet. And, this just makes so much sense because in human history, when people had sufficiency, so they were no longer in survival and they could be contemplative, then civilization progressed. If they spent all of their time and energy just in survival, if you look at tribes that are just in survival, they don't invent much. But when the conditions became right so that they could have enough food and store food, then and have some shelter, not always having to worry about how they were going to make it just to the next day, civilizations developed and spread. So it could be the same for each and every one of us. And I think you're probably here, how many of you got here? Somehow. And had breakfast or a power bar or something. If you have this day's support, if it is sufficient for you to live this day, you probably have a little extra time to contemplate new things for yourself and for others. You're in the place to allow your life to evolve into greater things. Ernest Holmes, the founder of this philosophy, said that he would listen until the silence would speak. But we have to be willing to listen. If you want answers, you need to listen. If you want solutions, you need to listen. If you just want direction, you need to listen. whatever you're up against, you probably need to listen. Listening, now take a deep breath. Listening has a lot to do with meditation. We can listen when we're meditating. And when you become receptive and listening, you're probably doing some sort of meditation. And yet, I am amazed at the people who scrunch up their nose at meditation. How many of you don't like the word? In fact, there's a part of your stomach that's going, ugh. How many of you are a little uncomfortable with meditation? Truthfully, less than first service. Okay, now, truthfully, how many of you are uncomfortable with meditation? Yeah. Well, oh no, I'm not uncomfortable. I just avoid it altogether. How many of you avoid meditation? Oh, now we have some more. Yeah, more truth. And yet it's so needed. Boy, there's stuff I want to know. I need to meditate. I need to be still. And yet, meditation can be like a lot of religions. People think of meditation and they think of some sort of strange posture, or like James Howard is on a 10-day Vipassana meditation, 10 days of not speaking, sitting on hard oh, no, this girl, no. I'm sure it's wonderful, but it's just not my thing. And if that was the only kind of meditation available, I wouldn't do it either. But there's so many ways to meditate. There's so many ways to be still. And to be still means being able to catch thoughts because you do not have your monkey mind working. How many of you know you have a monkey mind? We should have some hands. And how many, once the monkey mind gets started, you can't get rid of it? It's like it's in a cage in your mind that runs from sides. You try to reach it, it goes, and then it runs, and it's flying by its tail, and then it's, grabbing at stuff like, blame. And it's like those monkeys that won't get up things, and it just runs around. You got the idea, right? And you tell it to shut up. And then jumps up and down, or something like that. For me, my monkey mind goes off in the holidays. What are we going to do on Christmas? Who's coming? Do I have to cook? Oh my God, I have to cook. What will I cook? Will it turn out? Oh no, they'll hate it. You get the idea? Anytime I can not control, but anytime I can quiet the monkey, I call that meditation. In fact, my definition of meditation is calming the monkey mind, shutting it down. The monkey will always be with us. It's like a lot of good stuff. The monkey will be with us. But it can be in the corner, amusing itself with some shiny object. Or it could be swinging back and forth and screaming and screeching. It's our choice. Just as Karl Anthony said, we are what we put in our mind. We're also what we calm in our mind, what we not paying attention to. So let me give you some ideas about how you can, and I can, and we can meditate that do not require the lotus position, sitting on a hard floor, or sleeping on a cot. Kathianne's version of spirituality. Anytime you are in awe and wonder, the monkey becomes still. And there's so much to be in awe and wonder about. So you can look at the Olympics, you can look at the Cascades, you can look at Mount Rainier, and when you go into that awe, you'll notice the mind stops. It could be a baby. It could be a puppy. It could be that you just solved this amazing puzzle. Every time you're in awe and wonder, you're not monkeying around. And I mean that in the cerebral way. In fact, I was just thinking about that. Maybe that's why we love children and small animals, because they do make us stop, don't they? Has anybody ever played with a puppy and then complained to themselves inside, like I might do, like, oh my goodness, who's coming for Christmas and what will I fix? You don't look at a baby and go, whoa, baby, wonder when I'll pay my bills. Awe and wonder. That's perhaps why people like to be in nature, why people say that that's their church, because they stop the chatter. In fact, they don't stop it, it just stops. It stops. Another way to stop this, to stop the monkey mind, is to do something in which you are in the experience. For some of you, it will be walking. Now, it's not the kind of walking where you're walking with your friend, having conversations, or the time you're walking and you're also doing your laundry list and your to-do list. But if you just walk and just pay attention to the walking, some people can do that. Me, I can multitask too well. I can drive and think and walk and think. We want the things that take you over, that you have to pay attention to. And as long as you move into the experience and time stands still, you are soothing the monkey, and we can call it meditation. So anything that requires you to pay attention, for instance, I was teasing Tim Brinsfield because he does a lot of work with Habitat for Humanity and Rebuilding Together. So he knows about building houses. And I was, first service, I said, Tim, can you be thinking of something else when you have a nail and a hammer in your hands? He said, not effectively. And I know that a lot of times when they're doing Rebuilding Together and when they're doing Habitat, when you do Habitat for Humanity, a bunch of people come together and build a house all at once. You have to pay attention. Someone is nailing things around you, putting up sheetrock, moving wood around. You have to pay attention. You cannot be somewhere else. Every time you are present and you're paying attention, that could be called meditation. It's being here now. That's all it is. You're not somewhere else while your body's here. It's called meditation. Some of you would do it through perhaps weightlifting. I do it with horses. I have to pay attention to not only what I'm doing, if I'm going to stay safe, I have to see what they're thinking before they do something. I have to pay attention. I have to pay attention to the muscles, to their ears, to the way they're pointing, to the way they start to breathe. I've got to pay attention. I cannot be somewhere else. I'll get hurt. How many of you know what you're doing there? How many of you have an activity that when you're doing that activity, it's like you stop thinking, you're so one with the activity? How many of you have one of those? You're meditating. Isn't it glorious? And don't you love it? It's so soothing. Another way that you can meditate is through body postures. Martial arts, yoga. I must say that I do have thoughts in some yoga positions. When did I get out of this? When do I get out of this? And then the teacher can kind of gather what I'm thinking. She'll say, just breathe. Now hold it. No, don't hold it. Let it out. 5 more times. No! But when I can really move into it, like, tree pose. There's something gloriously wonderful about it. And all of a sudden, all I'm thinking about is, I'm upright. This is just meditation. And then I'll share with you the last one. And there's others, where you look, how you sit. There's places, there's ways of creating a mudra so that when you get your body in a certain position, it goes, okay, meditate. Ooh. But we won't go there. This is meditation for everybody, anybody, all the time. Another one is just your breath. It's portable. It's always available. And nobody knows what you're doing. It really served me when I was in Peru. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. Breathe in. Hold. Breathe out. It's very difficult to have chatter when your attention's on your breath. All of a sudden, the attention's not crazy. The last one that I will say, because remember, anything that stops the monkey mind is a meditation. So there's also other types of meditation. There's swirling meditation, whirling dervishes. There's the meditation that a rabbi might do when he's reading Holy Scriptures. There's just all sorts of ways that you can do things to just calm the mind. But one of the things that we could do, because we are exposed to such wonderful music all the time, is, well, I won't tell you what it is. We're going to do an experiment. Ernest Holmes said that he would much rather you prove what he taught than know what he taught. He didn't care how much you knew. He cared how much you proved. And if you think about it, religion is about knowing what someone else thought or believed. Spirituality is about having the experience yourself. So I would like you to have the experience of calming the monkey mind. But to do that, we first have to get the monkey going. So in your mind, contact the monkey. Give it some shiny little object. Something that you would like to worry about. How many of you know have at least one thing that you'd like to worry about? If you don't have one thing, borrow it from the person next to you. They have two things. So when you have something that you worried about last week and you recall it, raise your hand. Could be anything. Big, small, anything. You got a thing? Okay, now think about it. Now watch the monkey. And it wants to spin. Oh, yeah, let's play. And in fact, actually, I got more toys, just like this one. Okay, got it going? Right? Monkeying? All right, so then, all of a sudden, there's nothing you can do except perhaps give yourself something else. Put something else in your mind. You might say something. This is my favorite one. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. Did you notice that while you were singing, the monkey was over in a corner snoozing? The monkey doesn't play in the midst of a song about your highest self. This is important because so many people get riled up and say, I can't calm my mind. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. This is called spiritual dominion and mastery. You are meant to have mastery over what you think, because what you think is the gateway to heaven or hell. It's one of the reasons that I like people working with my horses, because when they get in the round pen with something that's 1,200 pounds and looking straight at them, monkey mind seems to stop. Huh. So, how many of you would like to make a commitment to meditate more in the coming year? Because you can. And you can make it work for you. Because God did not ask you to prove your dedication to your spiritual practice by suffering. That's my talk. I had a pre-talk, I had a talk, and now I have a post-talk. And before I get to that post-talk, I want to say something. If I did not know how to meditate, I could not do some of the things I do, because I'm always at a loss about what to do about so much stuff. And I want spiritual downloads or wisdom that happen when the monkey's quiet. Because if I've used my breath, if I have calmed myself by making my body do something it doesn't want to do, if I chant something to myself, when I stop, I'll find that there's space. The monkey's asleep. And in that space, I can have ideas I hadn't had before. And if we think the same thing over and over again, we're going to get the same results. What most of us need, if we want to make any kind of shift, are new ideas, not recycled ideas. New ideas happen when we create the space for them. Thus, meditation. But this talk is dedicated to our new members, because I heard Reverend Deborah say that we had 5 spiritual practices, and I've actually added a 6th. And I came up with these many years ago because I noticed that all religions practice 5 spiritual things, and then I noticed lately that they actually practice 6. Some of them put more emphasis on some of these practices than others, but since we are being taught and inspired by all major spiritual paths, we should be doing what they do because it's being done because it works. And those spiritual practices are prayer, meditation, study, service, giving, and the last one I've noticed is worship. They all worship. They all get together and worship. It's in small groups or big groups, but they get together and they do their spiritual whatever together. It's called worship. So what I also know is that not everybody is inclined to do all 6 of those. So I'm going to free you up. You're going to be the last membership group that's asked to do all 6 every day. That's crazy. Isn't it? How many of you practitioners do all 6 every day? I don't do all 6 every day. So I really set you up, because I'm the one that started this, I set you up for failure. And I've been healed. But we should do a practice every day. We should do something that connects our soul to spirit every day. But what really will work is if we found the thing that would really work for us. So I got this out of one of my horse magazines. And it's about it's the psychology of the horse and how to understand your horse's personality. I still don't understand my horse's personality, but I am going to use it on you guys. So, honest, this is honest. It's like, really? I'm supposed to figure this out? I don't know, but I can ask you, and the horses can't go, oh, yeah, that's the right one. So, this is what I was supposed to ask myself, if my horse was introverted or extroverted. Really? So I'm going to ask you, are you introverted or extroverted? Now, Introverted means that you get your energy from being by yourself. Extroverted means you get your energy by being around other people. So the more you're around people, the more jazzed you get. For introverted people, the more around people, the more depleted you get. So, do you know if you're introverted or extroverted? Raise your hand. My horses can't do this. It's like I've asked every single one of them, are you introverted or extroverted? Is it a trick? So, all right. So, who's introverted? Who's extroverted? Whoa! Man! Wow! This is what second service is like. Far out. Okay. All right. So, the next question is, do you like variety or do you like routine? Frankly, I think all my horses like routine. Feed me now, feed me more. But anyway, so for people that like variety, you are the ones that don't want a plan. You just want to sort of see what shows up. And then plans get in the way because you were going to want to change it because you've had this new inspiration. They're called spontaneous. Then there's people who love routine. They are the ones that want it, and they want it the same way, and it makes them feel comfortable. Now, yes, we can deviate, but only slightly. And the reason we can deviate is because there's such a nice routine underneath everything. How many of you like routine? How many of you like spontaneity? Oh, boy. Yeah, that's why you come to second service. I love it. I know, I'll go to service today. God bless your little hearts. No. All right. So routine rules first service, by the way. All right, ready? So this is out of horseology. This is how I would say your spiritual practice that you would feel the most comfortable with. For those people who are introverted and like routine. How many of you are introverted, like routine? There should be a few of you. Not many. You could go to brunch. Talk to each other later. For people that are introverted and like routine, your spiritual practice of choice and that would serve you the most and really feed you is prayer and meditation. To pray for others. To spend time just meditating, and however you do it, I'm doing this, but you might do walking, you might do physical activity, but to do that would just send you into a wonderful zone. How many of you are introverted yet spontaneous? You're like me. You like to study. Your spiritual path that would suit you the most with your personality is to study. You like to know about how this works and this works. You like science. You like religion. You like spirituality. You like philosophy. You like it all. And then you like to mix it up and apply it like a salve over everything. Isn't that true? Yes, okay. How many of you like variety and you're extroverted? You are the leaders and teachers and innovators of your spirituality. You should be leading, teaching, or innovating, meaning that you take all of these ideas and then you mix them up and apply them not to yourself, but how to make other people's lives better. Leaders. How many of you are extroverted but like routine? There weren't very many routine people around. Don't be ashamed. It's okay. God bless you. You are service-oriented. You feel God when you are using your mind, your body, and your whole self in the world. You would make great small group facilitators, and you really want to do things as a posse. So you get a gang and you go do something. And the more you use your body, the more inspired you are, and the more you feel like you're at one with the universe. So that was just a freebie. So I hope for all of our new members you find your place, because we'd love to have you as leaders, small group facilitators, in service to the world. praying like crazy for all of us. And in fact, pray that I have some sort of idea about what to do for Christmas Eve that I haven't done before in the last 30 years. Thank you. And then also the people that study. What happens when you study, you get so full that you find yourself saying what people need to hear because you're filled with everything you've been studying. Let's pray. I'm so grateful for this day. I'm grateful for our new members, and I'm grateful for our ability to connect with our God in a way that is positive and powerful, a way that suits us. For the reason there are so many paths to God is because there's so many people. And Spirit is so ingenious that it creates for us, if we listen just the right way, for us to connect with the universe, with each other, and especially with our deepest, most holy self. And so knowing that, I speak my word of blessing for each person here, that this week we know God in a bit deeper way, a broader way, a more intimate way, a more powerful way. We know our source. I'm so grateful that in moving into knowing this, we begin to perceive beautiful possibilities for ourselves, for our family, our friends, and our world. We begin to see as God sees. Oh, and there's so much security and so much serenity in that. I am grateful that we are blessed by being together. And I'm grateful that we go out of here being a blessing to the world. And so it is.